I have Shri Madhusudan ji, who has been a teacher for last around 30 years. In fact, he started this school, which we can see in the background. It's a Pragati school. So he has a vast teaching experience, and I'm going to ask the same question here. So Madhusudan ji,
Yeah.
what are the 3 policy reform ideas that you'll suggest as a teacher?
The basic stakeholder of education is the student. Without student, there is no education. So basically, in our education policy, student should have freedom of learning. He should be able to learn, or he should have an opportunity to learn whatever he likes. In fact, we are restricting a child, preparing a curriculum which is having only some components in it. So we should have a very open option to the child to learn independently. So the learning should be independent. A child should have a freedom of learning of his choice.
So, does that means what you are saying is give student freedom to learn?
Yes.
That is your first recommendation?
Yes.
Okay.
The
What's
way he wants, because every child learns in a different way. Every child is different. Every child is unique. So he learns in his own different way. And he likes certain things. He doesn't like certain things. So whatever he likes and whichever way he wants to learn, we should give the freedom to that child to learn in his own way, to learn whatever he likes.
Okay, so that is one. What is the second reform ideas, policy reform ideas you will suggest?
Second policy reform idea is that the teachers should not restrict a child to only a limited scope, and the assessment part, the assessment scale whatever we are using, that assessment scale is a defective scale. We conduct a mathematics test, or we conduct an English, or we conduct any science test in which the teacher gives some questions and the child answers, and we award him 100 if he gives all answers right, and if someone gives 50% answers, we will award him 50% marks. So in this scale we are assessing a child, the ability, the performance of the child. But in fact, a child will have 100 parameters which we are not able to assess them, or we are not even concentrating on them. So for the success, the learning or the success of a child depends upon all such abilities which are not being assessed by our question paper. So there should be a wholesome assessment of the child. Whatever he does, whatever talent he exhibits, every talent what he exhibits should be given an assessment, or should be given a weightage. A child may draw something, a child may write something, another child may do something in science. So according to their own interest, whichever area they pick up and they do something good in that, you award marks in that area itself. Don't ask a child to do or answer only these questions, and if you answer, you will be if you are able to answer all, you will be getting good marks. If you are not able to answer, you are not able to get good marks. You should not restrict him like that. So let him do according to his own ability, whatever he likes, and according to that we have to give the assessment. We will be able to understand the taste and interest of the child in which he has, and we let him grow in that direction itself.
So what you are saying is, in this case, the assessment model should not be designed on the basis of what a teacher wants to assess, or what parents wants to assess, what other wants to assess. Instead of develop the child-centric education, not child-centric assessment model.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, child-centered assessment.
What is the third policy reform ideas that you suggest?
See, the third policy is that the curriculum, whatever we design, it should be a very open curriculum. It should be giving freedom to the child as well as to the teacher to explore themselves. See, the curriculum shouldn't be like this. You will design one lesson, or I'll give an example. In my 5th standard, in my 6th standard, whatever question answers I studied, whatever I studied in the schooling, I have forgotten all the things.
Right.
I don't remember anything. So it doesn't mean that I am not fit for 5th standard right now. So after having forgotten all those things, whatever is left with me, that is the real education. So this is only a medium. So through this medium, we are trying to teach certain skills to the child. So our curriculum should be very open, very free to the child. So that way we have to design our methodology, our curriculum, without giving limitations to the child. We should not limit the child. A child may excel in any other areas also. So don't restrict him. You should read only this story. You should read only this lesson. You should write only these question answers. Let him write or let him read the story of his choice. Let him frame his own questions. Let him answer his own way. So there a teacher should be only a facilitator. He is not a taskmaster. So we will only facilitate the child in learning by himself or herself. And we are under false impression that we are teaching the child. Child automatically learns. Any living organism by nature is a learner. So without teaching also, children learn so many things. An infant, before going to the school itself, he learns talking, he learns crawling, he learns walking, he learns all the things, speaking, everything. Who is teaching them? So automatically he learns. So this is also a learning process. In fact, they learn faster if we give them freedom. And if you do not restrict the child to learn only this thing, if you give freedom to freedom of the curriculum also, he will be able to learn more.
Okay, so the third thing you said is student-centric curriculum framework, right?
Yes.
So in that sense, if I try to summarize all your 3 policy reform ideas, as a teacher, I think you're talking about student-centric model in all 3 reform ideas. Even give freedom to student to learn, the first thing. Second, you said create even assessment model, which is student-centric. Third, you're saying even design curriculum and framework on the basis of what child wants possibly, and let it be as open as that, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit ji.
I have Ram with me, who is a student of BTech, third year student, and I'm going to ask him some questions. So Ram, as a student, tell me what are the 3 systematic policy reform you would suggest in education system? So what are the key 3 policy reforms that you wish to suggest as a student in the education system?
First point I would like to say is innovative things should be implemented in the present curriculum, like real-time things should be implemented in the regular curriculum. Students should be getting knowledge about the real-time things and innovative things. Those things should be included in these things. Like he should be getting the knowledge about the real world. What are the things going on around him? This is the one point I would like to say.
Do you mean to see our course or curriculum is so outdated that you don't get real-time information?
Yes, exactly. It is completely the old version, old curriculum we are following right now. New innovative things should be implemented in present, added in the present system.
Okay. What's your second policy reform idea?
Second things, I think more experienced faculty should be there for teaching the students. Experience and professional faculty should be there.
Currently, you don't find that the faculty
much,
is competent or expert or experienced?
More experience I would like to suggest. More experience and more quality should be getting to the students because of the teaching.
Okay.
He'll be getting more knowledge on the subject.
Okay. What's your third idea for policy reforms?
I think there is much pressure on the students. The pressure should be less, like exams pressure. The things what they are learning is they are not implementing exactly on the practical way. There should be some free of mind on the student. This should be there should not be any pressure, like exams pressure. And he'll be learning things he's learning is completely mud. It's completely what is it? It's completely
Rotten.
yes, it's completely rotten. It's not the knowledge.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so as a third thing, what you find is that the current system, which is, let's say, whatever assessment model it is based on, puts a lot of pressure on students, which you think is a problem. So the education policy should be reformed so that it doesn't put pressure,
It
right?
should not have any pressure on the student.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have Mr. Kulbhushan Sharma, who is president of National Independent Schools Alliance. And I'm going to ask a question. My question is, what are the key 3 policy reform ideas that you would like to propose? So, 3 बड़े policy reform के suggestion आप क्या देंगे शर्मा जी? Education segment.
नंबर 1 मेरा पॉइंट है कि नेशनल करिकुलम होना चाहिए जो पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड या पॉलिटिकली बाइस्ड ना हो. नंबर 2 मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो बीएड कोर्सेज हैं वो इतने अच्छे होने चाहिए. तो बीएड के लिए एंट्रेंस टेस्ट होना चाहिए ताकि वही लोग टीचर बने जो टीचर बनना चाहते. फिर उनकी बेस्ट ट्रेनिंग होनी चाहिए जब वो टीचर बनकर सिर्फ हॉस्टल्स के अंदर स्कूल्स के अंदर वो ट्रेनिंग होनी चाहिए. चाहे गवर्नमेंट उसके लिए फाइनेंस करे, लोगों को सब्सिडाइज रेट पर दे ताकि देश को अच्छे टीचर्स मिल सके. तीसरा मेरा मुद्दा था कि प्राइवेट स्कूलों को के प्रति गवर्नमेंट बाइस्ड ना हो, उनको अपना कॉर्पोरेट सहयोगी समझे और उनके लिए भी एक फंड जनरेट करे जैसे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स के बच्चों के लिए करती है ताकि वहाँ पर जो क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन है वो और अप हो. उनके लिए एक फाइनेंशियल कॉर्पोरेशन बनाई जाए और वाउचर सिस्टम भी अगर इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाता है तो उसको क्वालिटी में जो है बहुत बड़ा कंपटीशन एक पैदा होगा जिससे देश में क्वालिटी बढ़ेगी, क्वालिटी ऑफ टीचर्स को एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगी, कंपटीशन होगा और दूर दराज दूर तक स्कूल खुलेंगे, गांव में स्कूल खुलेंगे और अंतिम बच्चा जो देश का अंतिम गरीब बच्चा है जो 1 से 1.5-2 करोड़ बच्चे अभी भी स्कूल नहीं आ रहे वो वाउचर की वजह से स्कूल आ पाएंगे.
So 3 policy reform ideas from Kulbhushan Sharma ji we have is number 1, the curriculum framework needs to be redesigned and has to be more relevant. Currently it is too old and redundant. The second thing is there has to be a lot more focus on teacher hiring, training and the teaching mechanism. Third thing he talks about is the policy approach has to be more inclusive for private schools too. Currently private schools feel that they are not included in any of those policy design and the government approach is discriminatory. One of the ideas he proposes is school voucher which can bring competition and can benefit students. Thank you Sharma ji. Now I have D. Shashi Kumar who runs a private schools in Bangalore, Karnataka and is also a secretary of state level association in Karnataka and has been closely following education policy in state for last 30 years or so. Shashi ji, my question for you is, let's say what will you count as the 3 big policy reform ideas to reform education sector, education system in India?
See, one major thing is our Indian curriculum is designed almost 120 plus years old. This has to be as per today's growth and available circumstances. It has to be redesigned and there should be a components which is to be considered. One is health, second is nutrition, third is the available resource. Based on this content you are supposed to design the curriculum.
Okay, so one is curriculum
framework. It has to be redesigned, which is the almost oldest thing and it should be brought to the today's brain capacities.
Okay. The second.
Second thing is, government always now and then changes the policy to administer the academics or the school authorities. This is not par with the today's generation. It has to be very much carefully designed or brought out any policies taking the consent of experts and today's brain potentiality. What is happening is today we are just bringing out policy which is against the brain's natural growth.
So child-centric
It has to be
education of
very
teaching
much,
system.
very much.
Okay.
Third thing is, when it is the quality education we are talking about, we are nowhere connected with parents' accountability. Parents so far is just their concern is provide their child education. It is not that. It is the involvement, parent, teacher and system. It is a triangle issue wherein we will have to from grassroots educate, that is from 0 to 10 years. A child, parent has to be educated rather than the child how to teach and made best outcome for the children.
Okay, so third reform ideas, you suggest that there has to be some
Parental guidance, that is parent teaching.
how do we engage
Yes.
parents into entire
Yes, because we have
education
left
system.
totally parent and only teacher is teaching this system. But until and unless parent involved along with teacher, then the learning outcome would be best.
Okay, thank you, Shashi.